we are officially recording. And
Recording.
3, 2, 1. We are. Everyone smile.
Hey!
Yeah, dude.
Woo!
Yeah. I don't know why. Every time we're doing like a thumbnail, I end up holding my breath for some reason. Like I have to, and I don't know why I do it.
You have to, dude. You have to hold your breath.
You definitely don't.
Okay, well,
Hey, guess what? The thumbnail didn't.
that's okay. That's all right.
Did it not? Oh, well.
It's like the first one we've ever missed. It's all right.
It's okay. It's just I'm looking down at my phone. I think Justin has his arms spread out, eagle. I don't know what he was doing.
Probably like stretching.
And you're just deadpanned at your screen.
So that was definitely right before then.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in. This is going to be a very special episode. We got a couple special cool things to talk about. And just exciting stuff. We're going to be talking a little bit about a event we have coming up here on Caffeine, as well as a little bit of information about this podcast and what's going to be happening, because today is our 25th episode and also the last episode of the CC podcast season 1. The next time you see us, we will be moving into season 2, starting the new year of podcasting. Let's go. That's cracked.
Woo!
Wow. One whole year of talking.
So,
It's a lot of talking, man. It's a lot of talking.
Ladies and gentlemen, and more importantly, gamers, I am Glitch Penguin. Next to me, we have
Fallen Wolf, and next to me,
We have Silver Zambi. Hello.
we are the creators and founders of the Caffeinated Creators, and we are happy to be here today talking about all this cool stuff we got coming up. So,
yeah, honestly, some pretty exciting stuff that we have coming in. So I guess just kicking right off into what we have coming into next week, specifically 6 days from now, coming up on the 20th of November. The Caffeinated Creators are bringing to you and other creators a first modded Among Us event. And we're going to be hosting it ourselves, as well as a couple other creators and some other friends as well. And we're going to be streaming it live on Caffeine. So if you guys want to come check us out at individual URLs, Fallen Wolf for myself, Glitch Penguin, and Silver Zambi, I believe. I'm hoping. We'll see if we'll be streaming. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, I like it. But we have a beautiful, beautiful video that was thrown together by yours truly, Mr. Glitch Penguin over here. That he honestly,
this had influence from everyone here. So, like,
I love it. It's great, and I'm so excited to watch it yet again.
So, yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll give the trailer a little run here, and you guys can check it out. We'll also be running this separately outside of this after this podcast, so you guys can check it out. If you miss it here, it will be up live later. So here on out, here you guys go. This is this year's trailer for the Among Us, the second Among Us event that we've done, but this is the
first
Among Us. Oh, first modded. Sorry. It's the second Among Us, first modded event. Here you go, guys. Check it out.
November 20th, year 2022. Distress signal.
Today is our 966th day in deep space. 3 years in our 5-year mission. The more time we spend out here, the harder it is to tell when one day begins and another ends. But we do what we can to make it feel like home. The crew, as always, continues to act admirably despite the rigors of our extended stay out here in outer space.
However, spending all this time in uncharted space faces us with many unknown threats. Some have even brought to my attention that other crewmates seem to be behaving unusual and are worried. There are rumors that something may have boarded our ship, but none of our sensors have detected anything.
We will continue our journey as planned. we must do our best to keep a close watch on anything out of the ordinary, as well as comfort anyone that may be affected due to the long time in the emptiness of the universe. Spending so much time in the unknown can be stressful. We'll have to do our best to stay alert, because something may be among us.
Ooh, baby, a triple.
There you go. There you go. So this is our that's our Among Us trailer for this this event.
And goosebumps.
It's
Goosebumps.
it's a pretty cool one. I like that one. That one was fun.
I
to put
really do
together.
enjoy it.
Let's
That-
be honest. It's all Hans.
yeah, dude.
that music really does put it all together.
It was a good combination this time around. So, but yeah, that's coming up right here this weekend, and I think we're all very excited for us. It's gonna be a fun time. We got hopefully a lot of people that are gonna jump in and want to be a part of it. And I think everyone's gonna enjoy watching it. I know when we kind of put ourselves together against each other a little bit, that tends to be pretty fun. So
There's some fun thing that could definitely happen. I mean, from the last event, it was absolutely a lot of fun, and there was a lot of shenanigans that happened. So hopefully, we can kind of get the same feel for this upcoming one.
Well, the extra fun of this is that there isn't just imposters to worry about. There's so much more to worry about.
True. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff that's gonna be changed this time around. So it'll be really interesting to see how this dynamic works out this time around.
Yeah, there's gonna be. I mean, overall, just the extra classes that you get to play is like alone, like in itself. The game already has a decent amount of content, but on top of that, all the classes and the different imposter classes that there are is like insane. There's so many. And
Yeah.
there's a Joker, the Jester too. to,
Actually, here before we get into that too much, Mike, do you want to give us a rundown as to like what's actually like what the mod is, like what we're going to be doing, all the things that are being incorporated into this? Excuse
Sure.
me.
I can kind of go through a little bit of it. The mod itself is called Town of Us, kind of replicating Town of Salem.
Okay. Yep.
So it, in addition to normal imposter roles, which there are extra roles attached to the imposters, there's other killing roles, some good, some bad,
Okay.
some neutral. There are crewmate investigator roles, so ones that can help you try and figure out who the bad people are. There are crewmate killing roles, there's crewmate protective roles, crewmate support roles.
Okay.
There's a whole set of neutral roles, like the glitch or the jester, that
So the
don't have any attachment to crew, but don't have any attachment to the imposters. And then there's a bunch of imposter roles, extra roles, certain extra killing ones, certain support ones, certain concealing ones,
I think
whatnot.
it's the veteran.
So to kind of summarize what we've got going on here this weekend, it's going to be a combination of mostly two different games. We have Town of Salem and Among Us that we're kind of merging together. That's kind of the general gist, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so Justin, I know that you have played. I know that you've done a lot more with Town of Salem than I think both me and Mike. Do you want to talk a little bit about like what the idea behind that game is, just so that like some people might be able to have an understanding as to like what this is going to look like?
Sure. Yeah. So like the general idea of Town of Salem, it has a little bit of different ways that it can be played. Probably the most notable for people who played on PC are going to see the like digital version, where essentially you have your own little character and you get into a random lobby with various other peoples and you get given a random role, whether it be sheriff or mafia leader, doctor, mayor. There's a bunch of different ones with a bunch of different varying like abilities.
And part of the uniqueness of this, like it kind of expands on the original kind of like who's the imposter style game, where if I remember correctly, you have all these different roles. Some are, you know, enemies or supports or hostile, neutral, all these different roles, but a lot of them in itself have their own kind of tasks. So, like for example, if you have
Every
like
role has its own task.
right. So like if you let's throw an example out here, something I just remember vaguely. But like let's say you have like a town sheriff. You might have a role that's just completely dedicated to protecting that one particular individual, and that's kind of like your job.
Yep.
Correct? Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
Yep.
there's a lot of different roles. There's one in particular. I think it's the one that you're thinking of. It's for the mayor.
Yes. Yeah.
Somewhat they have to protect the mayor because the idea is you have the mafia versus the townspeople versus werewolves is usually what it is. And the like general idea is whatever person's standing last. So like if there's majority of mafia standing at the end, or if there's majority of the civilians, or whatever the case may be, until like one side's definitely the winner, it pretty much just keeps on going until practically everyone dies. is really what it
Right.
ends up being.
Exactly.
But it's cool because you have text based, you have like it's a lot of thinking, because Among Us is a lot of decision making on the spot, and it also has to do with like situational awareness because you have to know what people are doing and where they were and
Yep.
blah 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 blah. But with Town of Salem, it's all you just like trying to realize where people were, because depending on what your role is, you may be able to to know where someone was that night because everyone acts that night. So it's honestly, it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of stuff like they have to think about to go into it, and you have to know the game. But
Yeah.
that's the art of mixing them both together now, because it takes the roles from Town of Salem and brings it into the quick, fast-paced, I guess like multitasking that Among Us is. And
Yep.
it's a lot of fun. It's a really good mix-up.
This event is also going to be kind of special, and it's a little bit different. This is the first event that we're hosting as the Caffeinated Creators. This is our first community event that is actually being not hosted by myself or you, Justin. This has been an event that is being put together by Silver Zambi. This is his first big community event.
Our man over here.
So a round of applause to you, Mike, for throwing this one together. I think we're going to be all very excited to jump into it and have some fun with this. It did a lot of really good work on it. We've got a good write-up for everyone. What I would say, just like as sort of like a BTS here of like when we do this kind of stuff, it's always really interesting because there's a lot that goes behind the scenes, and we've talked about this in the past, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes when we throw these events. But it's tricky sometimes because some games or some certain things that we do have a different level of involvement that is required by all the different people that are partaking to be able to actually participate in the event. And sometimes we have to do like write-ups or like little instruction sheets and like how to get involved in what we're doing. And Mike did a really good job this time around putting together a very comprehensive sheet that was distributed amongst the players that are going to be participating in this event. And he put a lot of time and effort into it, and it looks great. And I think this is going to be one of our first events that we run. And it's probably going to have the most seamless like player to game interaction when it comes to getting involved and joining and stuff. So again, big hats off to you, Mike, for throwing that all together. It was fantastic.
I wish
Thank
I
you.
could clap
I was,
actually through the microphone. I would give you a nice little clap.
But
Something I was very passionate about, so I wanted to try and make sure it went as seamless as possible. So
yeah, absolutely, and it looks great, and I think we're gonna have a really easy time getting everyone involved this time around. And then Justin, big hats off to you for throwing together the poster for this event. Sometimes you usually do a video or a poster. This time around, you did the poster for it, which is not public yet, but after today, it will be. Tonight, it's going live as well as the trailer. The announcement will be made, and you guys will all get to check that out. And yeah, that's
and hats off to you for making the video as well.
I just do it because I
that
like
video
it.
It was pretty saucy, honestly. It's good stuff.
But yeah, so there you go, guys. That's our event that's coming up. That's this weekend on Sunday, November 20th.
Sunday.
Sunday. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm super excited for it, and I think everyone's gonna really enjoy it and have a good time checking this out. And again, this is gonna
Everyone's
be
gonna be sus.
Yeah, this
Everyone's
is
gonna be sus.
This is it's okay, EPA. I'm actually gonna kind of go through, do a quick TLDR
you
here.
You always got the VOD too, just in case.
Yep. And again, this is also a good time to say that by the way, if you do miss any of our live segments here, this is something that can be rewatched on YouTube after the fact. It is also available on any podcasting channel that you can think of. Everything from Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, all those places you can find that there as well. So, guys, again, this is happening on November 20th. Make sure to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. All your favorite streamers here on the platform are going to be streaming it and getting involved. Definitely check it out. And I'll wrap this little segment up by just doing a quick little last run on the trailer. Yeah?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. We'll give you guys one last little spin through here for anyone that missed it. But this is our official trailer for this event. Enjoy.
Captain's log. Date: November 20th, year 2022. Distress signal.
Today is our 966th day in deep space. 3 years in our 5-year mission. The more time we spend out here, the harder it is to tell when one day begins and another ends. But we do what we can to make it feel like home. The crew, as always, continues to act admirably despite the rigors of our extended stay out here in outer space.
However, spending all this time in uncharted space faces us with many unknown threats. Some have even brought to my attention that other crewmates seem to be behaving unusual and are worried. There are rumors that something may have boarded our ship, but none of our sensors have detected anything.
We will continue our journey as planned. We must do our best to keep a close watch on anything out of the ordinary, as well as comfort anyone that may be affected due to the long time in the emptiness of the universe. Spending so much time in the unknown can be stressful. We'll have to do our best to stay alert, because something may be among us.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Sauce.
Sauce, dude. Big sauce.
Beautiful.
Honestly, looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun.
It will be a
lot
fun
of
time.
Among Us, honestly, is always fun.
It is a fun time. There's been a couple of times like we're off that now, so we'll just keep doing whatever. But I always, dude, all the events that we run, all of the community stuff, it's always a fun time, and I'm very excited for this one because I think it's gonna be a knockout time.
Getting a group of people together, a group of gamers to play the game, and a big, massive multiplayer. Like, how many numbers? 10, 15 people. It's always a good time. Especially if everyone has fun with it.
Exactly. That's the thing, is everyone having fun with it. When everyone gets invested too and gets all like amped up whenever stuff happens, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. EPA, good question. This is actually going to be an invitational event, and we are still sending out a few invites, so just keep an eye out. And this is something that we could, because there's a limited amount of people that can actually participate in this, we are slowly sending invites out so that we can gauge how many people we need to play.
We don't want to over invite people.
Yeah, because if we go and invite, let's say we invite 50 people, or we open it up and then we get all these people, unfortunately some people, will get, they're like, oh, I can play, but then we're like, oh, sorry, we're full, I can't do that. So we're inviting until we're full. So there's a good chance that you might see one come through. That goes for like anybody that's involved in our community. So yeah, just keep an eye out, and like I said, there's a good chance that something can happen here. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think this makes me think back to like one of our really fun ones that we did was GTA days. Honestly, that was a really fun event.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a good time.
GTA without having to worry about managing a server. What? What's that?
Yeah, that was a lot more fun. I mean, like we had our fun with the RP, but eventually that kind of just it became more of a chore than actually playing the game.
There wasn't enough organic content to keep the RP going.
That's why I think
That's naturally what it came down to. I feel like.
that's why I think GTA days was a little bit more fun because it's sort of like all we're doing is we're getting a bunch of friends together, we're hanging out, and we're gonna play the fuck out of GTA and just do a bunch of races and have like a good time with just like everyone in the community, and that's always a good time. Just like, you know, if you're here, jump in. If not, it's okay. Like, we'll just keep the lobby full and we're just gonna keep going. And
Plus, GTA is one of those games that like practically everyone has. I mean, it was given out for free, so like if you don't have it,
you're like, dude, what, you've been living under a rock, bro?
Game's like literally 13 years old now.
That's crazy to think about. They just something else. I don't remember what it was. I don't know if it was GTA or something like that, but something else just reached a year milestone. But speaking of milestones, guys, another thing I think is worth talking about here. Again, this is a huge podcast. This is our final episode for this season. We're done until next 2 weeks from now.
Right. Yeah.
True.
but yeah, this is our. We've been doing this podcast for a year now.
It's honestly when I got on here today and you guys knew about it, it didn't even cross my mind that it's been a full year.
That didn't cross my mind until he talked about it earlier.
Absolutely insane.
I'll be honest. I only noticed it because right before we went live today, I put last season's audio version live. And I was scrolling through and I was just like looking at previous episodes and stuff, and I happened to see the date on the first one, and I was like, oh no shit, this is actually it. This is season 1 right here.
Yeah, honestly, it's gonna be cool because now on Spotify or multiple other podcast locations like Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts, there's gonna be a drop down. We're gonna have season 1 and season 2 now.
There will be.
We're getting another set of seasons on Netflix, but it's not Netflix. It's every other podcast location out on the internet.
We're gonna have to like change up our podcast logo so there's like a little bit difference between the 2 seasons. We'll have to figure out what we want to do.
We'll have to figure out something out.
You know what we do have? We still have all those other colors. Our logo. Remember all the other color palettes that we have?
Yep,
that's right.
We could use a different color palette.
We could. Yeah, actually, that might not be a bad idea. That'd be a good way to actually like distinguish between the different seasons.
Yeah, so that's an option too. But oh man, it's crazy what we did this year. I mean, like all the events that we hosted, the
MGC, all of it.
MGC was definitely the highlight, dude. That was
absolutely.
That was the
100%.
highlight of the year. I can't wait to go back next year. It's coming up too this spring.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Honestly, we'll have to get in contact with Dan and get the booth all squared away and everything, and get the ball rolling and start getting conversation going and figure out what we want to do this year.
For anybody that doesn't know, the MGC is like a big video game like conferencing thing that happens. It's sort of like if you ever seen like what's that like big anime one? The big what is that?
AnimeCon?
No, it's what is it? It's got a big name for it. It's like it's
the one that's here.
No, just in general, it goes all over the place. Comic-Con, yeah, it's a Comic-Con style event, but for it's much more video game oriented. It's not as much like
retro style video game.
It's
but
less
also all video game.
Yeah, it's less pop culture and more video game centric. So that's gonna be
the nerdy side, if you will.
Oh yeah, the like very nerdy side. You can play every game going back all the way to early arcade cabinets, all the way up to like modern stuff. They've got everything there. They have, and when I say everything, they literally have everything.
They literally do. It's pretty crazy.
They've got stuff from VR games to games from the 80s and like all
for Atari board.
Yeah, and one of the coolest things about it is you can quite literally play the games on the hardware they were intended for. You're not playing on emulators or like computers or things like that. That's
the magic of it.
Yeah,
there.
People are bringing their fucking old like original like Windows 3.1 machines and DOS boxes and Apple leases and stuff and playing the games that were meant to be played on the hardware, and they let you just play it. And once you pay your admission, everything is free for the entire day. You can just hang out all day long if you want, and
or all 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, it technically runs 3 days. We go all 3 days, and it's one of those things where I feel like you want to meet us and come hang out. Well, we're gonna be there and all that kind of fun stuff. I don't even know why we're talking about it like that. It's like it's still
true.
Ways
it's
away.
Still such a long while away, but it's all right though because we're hyping it up because it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be like last year, or well, this year I should say, was amazing. It was honestly an amazing experience overall, and hopefully we can top it going into the next one. We'll have to get in contact with our lanyard plug and see if we can get some more
Oh,
badges and whatnot too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all out of merch. We gave it all away. We have that's
Yeah.
the other thing is we always have all the fun little giveaways. I love doing that so much, dude. It's just fun.
It feels nice to just like be able to be like, here you go. Yep, take it. Have a good, like, yep.
If
See you guys later.
it's cool to know that there's like a couple hundred fucking CC lanyards just floating around in the wild right now.
Whether they be in some random like bin sitting at the bottom while no one knows where they are, or in between the cushions of a car seat.
Also stickers, plenty of stickers.
Yep.
Oh.
Maybe we're sitting on like a stop sign in New York or something. I don't know.
That's the other thing. Maybe we should just go around and just start sticking CC stickers on everything, just like slap them up on all the signs. I still got a couple. I held on to a few in case
We'll
whatever.
have to get
We'll
like
make
a QR code or something.
We'll make sure
going.
the city of Milwaukee knows we're here.
Wow, those Caffeinated Creators guys, they're vandals, bro.
Dude, we're just literally leaving a paper trail so they can come and get us.
Yeah, it's like, I wonder who did this. It couldn't have been those three guys. They
got some good shots of our face too. They can take all the recordings.
Yeah, they know They know where we're from, who we are, our names. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's GG from there.
Okay,
honestly.
so maybe after thinking sticking the stickers on the signs isn't a good idea.
Actually, it wasn't us. It was someone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This episode isn't going live for legality's sake. Sorry, guys.
Oh man. So, are you guys excited for the beautiful upcoming snow that's going to be ensuing? Probably within the next at max a week.
It's
I don't think it's.
Isn't it coming up sooner than that?
It's definitely. It was possible to be today. It didn't come today because the lake effect and all that beautiful stuff. Because it's snowing everywhere else. It's not snowing here though.
we have snow in the forecast for tomorrow here.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Oh.
We have snow in the forecast for tomorrow, which I'm gonna be real. It doesn't make exactly a lot of sense because it is. I mean, it might snow, but is it gonna stick? 100% not. It's way
No,
too,
of course not. It never does.
but it is weird. We are in winter. Ugh.
I just find it so funny that there's so many locations around us that aren't anywhere near where we are that have gotten snow before us, which just is like absolutely mind-boggling to me because like we always get snow like immediately.
Dude, even northern Wisconsin's already got a couple inches.
Yeah, they do. I just saw some videos from up north there, and they definitely have snow on the ground already, which, man, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm really not.
EPOS has thoughts.
Yeah, neither am I.
EPOS has thoughts on the U.S. and fiber internet. EPOS, do you want to elaborate a little bit on that? Like what you mean?
I would,
I'm a little curious
I would
as to what you're
love
meaning.
fiber internet to be more of a thing.
Dude, imagine if just everything had fiber connection.
It's funny today. At work, one of my things I was working on is I had a fiber troubleshooting situation all day today. I was working on fiber bullshit.
Like setting up or
Yeah, because so the tricky thing with fiber is it's not just fiber. You know how like in RJ45 you've got like Cat 5, Cat 5e, Cat 6,
Yeah.
Cat 6e, and then Cat 7, and like all these different like all these like different things
like
and everything.
variations. Yeah.
So with fiber, it's the same deal except for every type of like main type of fiber, there's like 6 different iterations. There's like fiber it's not twisted. It's like it's
What's the different variations between them all? Just like variable speeds or bandwidth?
So there's fiber single mode and then multi mode. Those are like your general like 2 versions. Single mode is like you can do, I don't even remember the exact difference behind it, but I think it's how many lines you can have running through it. So like a single mode or a multi mode fiber connection could have 2 separate like let's say you have 2 separate networks and 2 completely different switches and like 2 completely different like areas.
But it's
You
going
can
into
you
the
can
same
have
cable.
you can run one single fiber line and split up that in the fiber line. You can run all the same information down the same line, but have it still be segregated once it gets to the end. So that would be
That's
like
crazy. Interesting. I
that would
didn't
be
know
like multi-mode, and then single mode doesn't allow for that. And then when you start working with like jumpers and fiber pairs and stuff, there's like there's like an alternate, like you can have it go one way and like flip the connectors around and it does something different. There's just like all these different variations. I'm not familiar enough with fiber to really know all the differences, just because I'm not focused enough with it. Like I haven't learned enough about.
No, that's
like,
fair enough. I didn't even really know that there was those kind of differences in them. I guess I never considered it, you know?
It's honestly way more complex than RJ45, unfortunately, but it's very cool and very fast when you get it working.
I feel like it's kind of like the equivalent of talking about like quantum mechanics in particular, just because it's like on a completely different level from how standard Ethernet works.
Kind of, except you're just talking about light.
Yeah, obviously, which just kind of isn't complex in general.
So EPA said fiber isn't very widespread and is very expensive where it is available. EPA, I think it really heavily depends on which area you're in. It depends on the saturation level of how much fiber there is, at least from my experience. I've had gigabit fiber before for like $40 a month, which is pretty damn inexpensive.
Who the fuck did you get that through?
It was TDS.
Oh, okay.
That's the company that owns US Cellular.
Yeah.
But that was because it was a fiber saturated area. There's a lot of different places that had it out there. But like out here where I'm at right now, if I want a fiber, I'm paying out the fucking ass to get out. We're talking like thousands of dollars.
Well, that's the funny thing about like modern day internet, or just like I guess internet in general, is it's all relative. I mean, you could be living out in the middle of the boons and paying $50 for 2 megs because that's the highest internet you can get out there, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing too is like out here we've got a lot of fucking land to cover for getting fiber laid out. There's a lot of space that they have to run it to. It's not.
That whole neighborhood would have to essentially get fiber if it's gonna go there.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but the thing that bothers me, honestly, is that a coworker of mine who lives about 5 minutes down the road has fiber available and has
National?
fiber. No, he's on like 60th and Beecher. So
So he's just like essentially like north of you, or that'd be south of you.
that would be south.
Mike, if it makes you feel any better, if I lived on the opposite side of the street that I'm on right now, I could have fiber.
Yeah,
If I
see,
lived on the other side of the highway, I could have fiber.
Get. That's what I don't quite get about it, of like how they're laying it out so
It has to do
specifically.
with how they're getting it. I just don't understand how they prioritize it. Like, how do they like? What's their contracting deal look like to be like, okay, this location's getting it first, then this location.
I think they look at population density and how many people they think will actually sign up for it, because like
Housing prices and stuff like that.
No,
gauging the actual household.
I wouldn't say that. I just mean in general as sort of like if we run fiber here, how many people are actually going to sign up for it to get our ROI on the investment it requires to run fiber to an entire neighborhood, because it ain't cheap, and they're looking to make sure they get their
down
investment
money
back.
in the first
Couple-
they start putting it in.
Couple years, like they're not making any money on it for years.
I mean, let's be honest. So they already made their money on the other millions of users.
But I mean, like, that's the thing is, it's specifically AT&T fiber is the one that goes around here, and they like anyone in this area over here that games would gladly get the AT&T fiber over Spectrum is what we have now, because it's about the same price for a hell of a lot more.
Oh yeah.
I was actually gonna ask that question. I've heard that AT&T fiber is actually expensive, like relatively expensive.
Depends.
I mean, from what I've seen, it looks to be approximately the same amount, probably a little bit more, but you would essentially be upgrading for an extra $20-$30 a month and getting a gig rather than 400 megabits.
Yeah, that's not bad. I pay fucking, or Ken's and I pay. We pay. I think we're at 110. No, we will be once our promotional period is over. But we're 110 for just slightly over a half a gigabit. So like,
that's what we're at. Is 100 for 5.
Yeah, we're at like 650 down, or 600, 700 down, and we're paying for 45 up, and that's almost $100 a month.
I honestly need to get into a Spectrum location, get an account switch over on the address, because you save so much money when you re-sign those deals.
Dude, I told you. Did I tell you the business account life hack yet?
You told me a little bit about it, but I don't know much for it.
So with Spectrum right now, they don't offer. They used to require an EID, like if you have a business like tax identification number, to sign up for a business account. Recently, they made a change where you no longer need to use a tax identification number to sign up for a business Spectrum account. Okay.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
So what you can do is switch over to a Spectrum business account, and you can get your internet discounted back down to the promotional price, but on a business account. So for the same price as what you're paying for to get like just your normal internet, you also get a landline, faster internet, and you're back on the promotional period for 2 years.
Until you want to create another quote unquote company for another account on your Spectrum.
I don't think that they would let you do that. I think after the going from residential to the business, they would probably catch on and be like, But that's the other thing too, is after your promotional period is over, you can cancel the phone and your price goes back down to whatever your.
I was gonna say, because I definitely don't need a landline, but
getting the landline initially makes it's inexpensive and drops your price initially.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they do this bundle deal, and then the bundle deal plus the promotional thing, you actually are cheaper. Like when we signed up, like right now, our internet's actually cheaper. Should we have chose to upgrade to this speed on the residential plan?
Crazy. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it because hey, I'll definitely save money on internet.
The only catch is you have to double pay on 1 month between the two services. You have to leave your residential running for 1 month before you can cancel it.
I see.
So that's the only catch is you have to double pay 1 month.
That's kind of dumb.
Well, they do that so like the thing is like it flags in the if you start up a business or have a business line ran in the same place that you have residential services, and if you cancel that same time that you have that installed, they take it as a switch and not a new line. So then they'll drop your promotional period the second that you cancel it if it's before the 30 days is up.
Weird. That's very weird. Well, it'll be worth checking out though, nonetheless.
Yeah, true.
Alrighty, Michael. Well, how do you feel about moving on into AITA?
I can gladly move into AITA.
AITA. You AITA.
AITA. No, I'm AITA.
You
For today's Reddit segment of the evening, we've jumped back to the beautiful subreddit known as Am I the Asshole? Where we take time to figure out, based on this person's story, if they are in fact the asshole in the situation. So we have a interesting one. I always try and go like based off of titles, honestly. Titles are usually what grabs my attention first. And this one certainly grabbed my attention off the title. So we start off. Am I the asshole for crashing my ex's mother's funeral and telling his children I'm carrying their sibling? My ex's mother and I were very close. I knew her from long before I started seeing her son. I saw her as my own mother. We kept close contact up until the end. When I found out she'd passed, I was devastated. Her funeral was yesterday, and I went without receiving an invite. Didn't know you needed an invite to a funeral, but I guess this is important for later. If you didn't get it from the title, I'm pregnant with my ex's child. Unfortunate situation since he's back with his wife and things are tense, but that's the current situation. I was going there just for the funeral and to pay respects to an amazing woman who has treated me like her own child. I even sat in the back so to avoid getting attention. However, attention came and my ex's wife came to me saying that I was not invited and crashing the funeral, so I must leave. Luckily, my ex's older brother intervened and said that I was welcomed. The only problem is, after this, he basically forced me to sit further in the front, literally put his arm around me and led me to the front despite me saying that I was fine, to sit in the row reserved for family, directly behind my ex, his wife, and their kids. While people were looking at the body, open casket, Their kids saw me, came to hug me, and noticed my stomach was big, so asked me if I was pregnant. Their mother butted in and made a snarky comment like, "Yes, darlings, she just can't seem to stop making them." Mind you, I only have one other child, so this comment was purely just to make me sound like some loose woman, but still, I bit my tongue. The youngest then asked if the child will have my red hair, and her mother scoffed and under her breath said something like, "God forbid." So I was like, maybe, but your dad has brown hair, so the baby could look exactly like you guys, since the baby would be their younger sister or brother. Their mother overheard this and immediately called the kids back to her. I left as soon as the funeral was over. I got a call later that night from my ex saying that I was an asshole for telling their kids about the baby without talking to them first and told me to stay away from his family. Am I the asshole? And she does edit and puts in that there was no affair. They had separated. The ex and the OP dated. They decided to get back together and they broke up. So the pregnancy was just known afterwards. They already had known the pregnancy was the ex's kid.
And if I read this correctly or saw this correctly, they are marked as the asshole in this case.
Correct.
They are.
Yes, they are marked by the subreddit as the asshole. First thoughts from you two. What do you think? Do you think they are the asshole in this situation?
I mean, in all honesty, I think showing up to the funeral isn't that big of a deal. I mean, if you cared for the person, what the hell does it matter who you are and why you're there?
Right.
But for the kid thing, I mean, yeah, she was kind of an asshole for just bringing it up without bringing it up to the parent beforehand. But she did say that the pregnancy was known. But obviously, whether or not the parents thought the kids were ready to hear it, I don't know. So in that sense,
it sounds like
kind
it
of.
was known by the ex and the wife, but not
They
by the
both
kids.
knew. Yeah, they both knew, but the kids didn't know. So I could see them being the asshole. Personally, though, I think it's a gray area. It's kind of in between.
I don't think that the funeral was the time nor the place to bring up topics of the whole dicey family situation with the kids potentially having a sibling. I don't think that's where you bring it up. I think that was a dicey move, and I think that's kind of an asshole move, honestly. Like that, I just don't think that like you get these kids all, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the kid did ask though. That's the thing. Like, it all stemmed because the kid realized that she was pregnant.
Yeah, but
so
she
started
the
talking
kids
about
were
the
just asking
pregnancy.
about it.
She didn't have to go off and say like, "Oh yeah, it's your brother or sister." Like this is like technically one of your siblings. Like I don't think that needed to be added in there.
I think the fact that it came out that they were gonna be siblings with it was because it was like oh, are you pregnant? Oh yes, I'm pregnant. Oh, what hair is it gonna have? Oh well, it might have your father's because it's his kid. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know.
Epaw and Luz in the chat say they're saying that the kids probably were okay knowing it, but the timing was awful.
Yeah. It wasn't. It was a
weird timing.
From my perspective, it wasn't the time or place to say it, but I also don't think it's exactly a bad thing to say per se.
It definitely was bad timing. It was
Bad
a little
timing.
out of context given the fact that she didn't talk about it
But
previously, having the kids know. But overall, I would say that it's information that doesn't necessarily.
I also really don't blame her because the ex's wife is being kind of a
bitter.
bitch.
She's being bitter about it all.
I don't think that she was in the wrong for being at the wedding. I think for somebody that you were involved with,
The funeral.
It's a funeral.
I'm sorry, the funeral. I think that her being there, she had the right to probably pay respects to somebody that she was involved with, and obviously had feelings for and everything. I think that aspect of it is fine. But I think that we also don't have a lot of context about the family dynamic. And I think that depending on that family dynamic, they're probably maybe should have thought a little bit about like, you know, like, do I want to like kind of interject myself into this family like in that situation? I don't know. I think that there's a little bit back and forth, but I seriously think for the kid thing that probably just made it a little bit complex, because now the kids are going to be like, oh, they're going to want to constantly have that kid involved in their life. You know?
So I actually have I'm not going to go into too much detail.
I know
in
what you're
general.
referring to, but yeah, you don't have to go into detail.
Yeah, but I have a scenario that actually happened that was very similar to something like that, and I do understand where the anger of something like that just like being sprung upon a child, because like that kid doesn't care or know or understand any of the wrongdoings that someone may do or not do, or what the dynamic of the scenario is. But when you tell a person like you're gonna have a sibling, I mean that kid's gonna be hyped that they're gonna have a sibling. They're gonna tell everyone in their mom, like everyone. They're gonna tell everyone that they have a sibling with this person.
Yeah, that's
or,
not really
whatever the case is.
It's not like it's a small deal or anything. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and it's like definitely something big for kids because, oh my God, there's going to be another kid around.
Right.
So it definitely was a large like bomb to drop at a very bad timed scenario where she didn't even really probably mean to release that. But I also am kind of there with Mike. Fuck this bitch, honestly. She is just snarky and bitter.
Like
and
I understand from the ex-wife's perspective as well. Like, obviously, they separated and kind of just have that, like, oh, this is who you went to.
And had a kid with him. That's the thing. Like,
Well,
having a kid with someone after separating.
I'm sure it wasn't planned.
No, but that's besides the point. I mean, accidents happen, obviously, but it's just the fact of what it is.
Right.
So what do we,
and I feel like the ex's wife could be a bit nicer about it.
She could be civil if she really wanted to be. She could be civil.
Yeah,
but she's choosing to be petty.
What do you think as a whole about this? Do you think that do you think that there's a black and white answer for this? Do you think that she's the asshole? Do you think that she's not the asshole?
No, I don't think it's just she's the asshole. I think it's a gray.
It's a gray area. I personally don't mark her as the asshole because of the overall situation. Definitely not the asshole for the funeral, for attending the funeral, because obviously there was personal connection to the deceased.
And not vendettive. It's not like she went there to spite anyone.
Right. But it's a gray area for being the asshole about mentioning the pregnancy, the sibling to the kids.
Yeah. Unannounced.
I think it's a little bit of a gray area as well. I don't know if I can, because a lot of these that we look at is very black and white. Like there is like a definite like, oh, they are the asshole or they are not an asshole type of thing. This is the first one that we've really talked about that like personally I'm kind of like on the fence about.
This is one of those ones in particular that we just would need more context, in particular for the like family dynamic.
Yeah, we don't know the dynamic. Yeah, and
because there's a lot of emotions and history that's probably going on here, and like from the sounds of it, since the OP knew the mother before she dated her son, that would imply that there's a lot of time that's been going on here. Probably 20 years, if that, and like that's a long time to get to know someone. So.
Yeah, I almost feel like the ex-wife might be the asshole more than she is, honestly.
Yeah, truly.
The ex-wife 100%. Is definitely in a wrong to some degree in this situation.
I will
just
say,
for being as petty as she is.
I would be pretty pissed too if all of a sudden my husband left me and fucked some other girl and got her pregnant. So,
one of the top voted comments here says you had every right to go to the funeral. Where IU. Were IU, I would have waited until after to visit the grave, but to each their own. YTA for dumping drama while talking to the kids. You are the asshole for dumping drama while talking to the kids. You could have easily sidestepped the children's question with, wouldn't that be nice? Or we'll have to wait and see. You didn't do that. You chose to instead start some shit. And that I think is where they are the asshole. But not the asshole for going to the wedding. Funeral. Not the asshole for going to the funeral.
That I definitely am on par with that, but I still don't know if I can classify it as them being the asshole because there's more. They can't just like, yes, they are being an asshole, but they're being an asshole because someone else is already being an ass. So,
Right,
like,
yeah. They didn't start the shit. They just kind of continued on with it, which
yeah.
people will make the argument will just be the bigger person.
Isn't there a
Like,
tag for everyone here is the asshole? What's that one? Isn't
There is
Yeah,
well,
there
there's an
is.
everyone sucks here, but that's not really the situation because
Yeah, that'd be like the
the
kids, the husband, like everyone.
right, like the husband, the ex didn't really do anything wrong. They didn't do anything wrong in this situation. It's just the ex's wife and then the OP are both
yeah.
in a wrong to some degree.
I would say that personally I lean towards being the asshole a little bit more, just simply because they aren't innocent in this scenario. And
That's where
especially
I'm at.
definitely given that's like they didn't have to bring anything up to the kids, that they definitely could have sidestepped that. It would have been a fine scenario, and they wouldn't have been an like asshole at all. Like there would have been no liability.
Yeah, I think the reason I don't really mark this OP as an asshole is because I also am a petty person from time to time. If you start shit with me, fine. I'll fight back. I'm not just going to sit there and take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't blame you on that one.
All right. Well, we can determine. We'll determine as need a little bit more context. Mostly the asshole, but there's some other stuff going on in the background there. She's
Potentially
not,
the asshole.
not
I would say
100% at fault in this scenario.
50% the asshole.
You guys
More
kind
like
of marked her
75.
as an asshole. I'm not, so we'll take the 2 out of 3. We'll mark it as
She is
overall asshole.
the asshole. All right.
He's a 66% asshole.
Yes, there you go.
There you go. There you go. Guys, I wanted to talk about something that's been coming up recently. I don't know if you guys heard anything about this. You both have 30 series graphics cards now, right?
Correct.
Have you heard about the latest shit going on with? I always like to talk. I always pay attention to like some of the big tech news going on and everything. But this one's been big. This one's been really big, and I'm curious if you had heard about it. But
Let's hear it. I haven't heard a single thing. I have
No,
no idea.
I
what
don't
you're
think I
talking
have
about.
either.
have you heard the shit about the power connector on the PCI like extension cable?
I mean, I know about it, but I haven't heard anything about it.
So the cable that comes in the box that breaks out that
little-
what is it, a
little
12 pin?
or
Yeah,
whatever.
the 12 pin breakout. So
Yeah.
that the NVIDIA one that comes with it has been melting and lighting on fire like
Oh.
consistently. It happens
On what cards?
on all 30 series graphics cards. If
30
you-
series?
all 30 series graphics
Like
cards.
as if like it's been a year and a half to 2 years now, and they're just finally starting to melt and get on fire type thing.
The first couple of ones weren't as like noted and everything because it wasn't like a super big, like there's only like a few case scenarios, but now it's been as they get older and people are doing stuff with them and like using the cables and everything, there's a defect in the cable, and right now the communities that are using these right now, everyone they're trying to start a recall on the cables because the cables are fucked. So what's
Give
happening?
me a free 4080.
What's happening? What's happening is like let's say this flash drive right here is the cable, right? I just like imagine the flatness of it, and and this is the skinny side, right? So what the cable, that type of cable suggests, I think it's like an inch or something, about you're not allowed to or supposed to bend the cable past this 1 inch. You have to go up the inch, and that's where you can start the bend.
Then you can start bending it, yeah.
However, most cases, because these graphics
Immediately.
cards are fucking
They're
massive
so
already,
bulky.
you can't do that. You just can't. There's no realistic way to go about doing that. So the
You literally
thing,
can't, because the front panel's gonna bend it.
most of the issues when you bend the cable, like again, so long side, skinny side, bending the cable this way hasn't been the issue. It's when the cable is being bent that way.
Yeah,
Is where the issue.
pins and stuff like that.
They have an internal bridge on the adapter cable. There's an internal like soldered bridge on it. And what's been happening is when they get twisted this way, the joints, the soldered joints on that bridge inside the cable get loose. And obviously when you have more resistance on a cable, that translates to heat, right?
Yep.
So some of these cables that are in like some of the bigger cards like the 3080s and 3090s that consume more power, what's been happening is they get warm and they've been melting the plastic shrouds on the adapter, the pin adapter on the graphics cards,
Making the problem even worse and worse.
and
Yikes, yeah.
and the cable themselves are melting.
That's terrifying, honestly, because I just brought it up to you guys, but I'm potentially looking at getting a new Mobo and CPU set and everything, and
So
that terrifies me to mess with that cable now.
Well,
so
that just means that when you change out your parts, you'll have to take a nice deep look in there to make sure nothing's melted in.
Yeah, right. Jeez.
the current suggestion, like the current so here I'm gonna pull up a few things on the stream here so that you guys can take a peek at what I'm talking about. So there's a few pictures that people have brought out, but I'm going to show you a cut down version, a cut in half cable, and show you what the solder bridge looks like from NVIDIA. Okay, because this is being determined as sort of like a quality control issue from their factory that's making the
this
cables.
is a manufacturing problem that they're gonna have like a potential class action lawsuit against, depending on how this ends or
So
how it goes in general.
This is what the soldering joints are coming out of the factory looking like.
Holy.
Jesus.
So
wait, what?
So this is they cut it in half. So that's if you look at all
Yeah.
all the plastic that's up here,
Yeah, it's all from the cutting.
that's from the cutting. But what's not from the cutting are these solder joints.
Yeah, look at those solders, dude. And they're connecting. Look at those.
This is the bridge. This is the internal bridge I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's a metal plate that's in here that's supposed to be here. But
Yeah.
but they solder it together to do that, and this is what the fucking soldering joint looks like on it, right?
That looks disgusting.
It's
Dude, that's
awful.
It's $2 an hour right there.
it's terrible. So this is what's been happening here. This is what it comes out looking like. I'm just going to open an image. And you guys
Dude,
can see this.
You're spooking me. I'm gonna fucking.
Well,
I need a new graphics card.
For you guys, I have there's a solution to this.
Oh my god, dude! I would be fucking petrified if my graphics card started on fire. You realize how detrimental that would be?
So here's one example. You can see all these pins are like melted or whatever here, right?
This is just the power cord that comes with this.
This is the power cord that comes with the 30 series GPUs. This is the adapter that comes in the box with the GPUs. This is another person's. This is another cable.
So if you didn't use this, you're
That
fine.
jumper cable. Well, you have to. You
Well,
literally have to use it.
Let me. I'll keep going here. So here's another one
Is
of
it
the
just
actual
40 series. So they use these connectors for the 30 series as well, Julian.
Yeah,
But I
this
think
is
it's 30 and 40.
30 and 40 use the same connectors, but this has been happening on both, as far as I know. Here's another. I think that's actually the same picture. Yeah, this is the same picture. My bad. But so the fix for this that they've been talking about, like what you can do is simply just don't use the adapter cable.
Well, so that's my reason for asking if you've used this thing. I didn't use that for mine,
Then,
but I also didn't get a first party card. I have a gigabyte card.
yes,
I definitely have used I do have a jumper cable that is connecting two 8-pin, or actually probably 6-pin.
I'm double.
GPU.
Julian is right. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just correcting
that's
myself
fine.
just so that everyone here is on the same page. Julian is right. They are on the 40 series cards.
Okay.
Not
I
the 30
do
series at all.
have
It does not
one
look like
of
it.
those cables, but it's not the same thing. They came out with a new one, I'm pretty sure.
They
or
did.
at least
They
it's
did.
a different one.
Yep, I'm reading it right here. It is a new one. My apologies. This is just
I was
for
gonna
40
say-
series cards. My bad. 40 series
Those
cards.
I was looking at those connectors and they looked more like they were they almost looked like I don't know what would they call those? The specifics, it's those cables that they use for like RGB controllers.
Yeah, those.
those,
Are you
like,
talking about
very
those 4
fine,
pins?
like- They're like very fine 4-pin specific connectors that are usually ribbon style cables, if you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
But that's what that connector looks like almost. The one that I'm talking about for the 30 series, I mean, you actually know exactly what I'm talking
Yep.
about because I'm sure you've seen it, where it's a double 6-pin going into a single 8
Yep.
12-pin.
I think Julian said it's a 3/8 pin connector. Looks like, unless he's talking about 40 series. I think he might be talking about 40.
I think
series.
he's talking about the 40
Yeah,
series.
yeah, yeah,
That's what he uses for his card.
Yep. So yeah,
'Cause,
long story short with it though is just the recommended fix is to just don't use the NVIDIA cable and use a third party cable. And if you bought
Easy enough.
if you bought a third party card like a reference card, then you're pretty much good to go.
Just
Right.
like those what was it, those GPUs that were going out with the power issue, the ECU issues on the
right, yes.
graphics cards.
Yes, on
Well-
the 30 series.
What was that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was an issue with specifically the 30 series reference cards on very particular models that they had essentially cheaper and like lower quality ECUs, and they didn't have the proper shrouding to protect against EMF like leakage of just in general, and the connections essentially would just sit there and like interfere with each other the entire time, and like you'd be sitting there playing games and like your graphics card would be running at like 10% of what it really is because it's just having interference issues.
So yeah, like Mike responded to you there, lose a third party card those are called reference cards. Those are going to be your Asus, EVGA, MSI, Gigabyte. All those are reference design cards. First party is going to be your founders card. So there's founders and reference. Third party being the same thing as well. So if you are using one of those, they provide their own cables for them, so you don't have to worry about that issue. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was crazy. It's just fucking nuts to see such a fuck up from a company like NVIDIA like that.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how there was such an oversight with that. Being as like that's definitely one of the things you would try and test for. You make a new adapter, you make sure that thing has no issues whatsoever. Now, obviously, it is a over time thing that wouldn't show up immediately.
Maybe it was something that happened during COVID or something.
Well,
like
do you
that.
guys remember the NXT or NZXT cases that were like fucking lighting on fire? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I
do
can't say I do.
The
It was a
NZXT
grounding issue, right?
Yeah, NZXT had some like cables that were built into their PC for like power or like fan distribution or something like that. They were
It was a grounding because the PC cases ground the parts to
yeah,
the
Right.
case.
it was like fucking frying whole computers and stuff. So they did
Jesus.
this big recall and they just sent out like
Could you imagine that, dude?
I
You
would
literally
be
you get your first computer all together and you're like, all right, guys, like let's press that power button, and you turn it on and like you just like have you guys ever seen metal in a microwave? You look
Yes,
at your
yeah.
computer and you see that
Did
plasma practically being created. You're like, whoa.
I told you about
the only time I've ever seen metal in a microwave. It's a funny story, but Max, you were gonna say something.
No, go. It's a good.
Okay. So I remember specifically as a kid, as a stupid kid, I was messing around and playing. You guys ever see the show Bakugan, the card game show?
I'm familiar with it. Have not seen it.
Yeah. So I had toys of the Bakugan, and they had actual physical little balls that you could roll onto the card, and they would activate.
I never
Like,
played
with-
it, but I
with-
always watch the ads, and it's just I know exactly what you're talking about.
They would activate with magnets, and they were like spring loaded to open up and whatnot, and it was really cool.
I didn't know that's how it worked. That's so cool.
They were magnetic cards. Like the cards that you could do it with were a lot thicker. They were magnetic cards, so it would attach to that. So I'd always go around as a kid, like put it on the stove and the fridge and stuff
Okay,
because
yeah.
it was just a magnet.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why, but there was just one night I'm messing around, making up my own like bullshit imaginary story, and I put this shit in the microwave as like a torture thing, and I started it for all of 2 seconds before I immediately opened the door and realized, oh my god, it sparked, and I could not close this thing. I couldn't close it back up. I don't know
man.
exactly what sparked or melted inside of it, but it was
Wait,
stuck
your
open from that point on.
Your microwave couldn't close.
No. The Bakugan, the toy.
Okay.
Like
okay. The
you
toy,
could,
sorry.
they were balls that would open up
Okay.
into a figure, and you could always
Yeah,
close
yeah,
it back
yeah.
down into the ball.
They
I
look
could
like,
not.
You
You probably
that
melted
was
all the
really,
plastic joints in it and
I
everything.
could not. It was
all the
on
springs.
it was on for 2 seconds at the most before I opened up that microwave and turned it off.
You quite literally probably heated up the spring-loaded like springs that were inside of the toy, and it melted the plastic and just created like a sarcophagus of hot plastic in your toy.
And this is why you should not leave your children alone.
Oh my
Ever.
god!
How do you spell Bakugan? Like how is it?
It's
Bakua.
Is it pronounced Byakugan? No, I'm thinking of fucking the Byakugan is fucking.
Oh, okay. Here.
Bakagan or something like that.
So
During Walmart.
So
yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know what the fuck we're talking about here, I'll show you exactly what Mike is referring to. Mike, I lied, by the way. I have 100% had one of these. I had to think about it for a while. I did also have one of these.
I wish I had one of these. I had no idea that they were magnets. That's so cool. Like I remember
there was on like a board,
ads.
and you would like fucking flick it down and it would go.
I remember the ads because like it was so like it would show the kid like flicking out this little ball and then it would like spring load out in front of you. But
it would open up on top of the card.
I just thought it was like I thought it was ad magic, you know what I mean? Where like,
sure.
They make it feel more special than it really
there it is. Yep.
There you go,
Oh my
here you
god,
go.
my mind totally made these things look cooler. Holy fuck.
Oh my god! Look at that kid! Wait,
Hell
dude,
yeah, look at
dude,
him.
wait,
Look at
hold on. Holy fuck!
I almost want to see if like in this, like I know exactly which one it was, so if I can find it, I'll point it out immediately. I know
Bro,
exactly
that
which one I
has to
fucked
be a
up.
meme right there, dude. Oh my god, I grew up with a guy that looks, or not grew up, but I played Halo 3 with him. That he looked just like that.
Could you imagine?
Hold on.
rolling up to your fucking class, and you got one kid that looks at you. You got one kid that fucking walks up to you like this. He's got this fucking look on his face, and he goes, and you're like, yeah, well. Yeah, how about that?
What are you gonna do about it, bro?
Dude,
Step up.
I can't get over this. The fucking
Dude, they're having the fucking duel. They're about to throw down. All right.
I've never seen a fight more intense. That's like more intense than when like UFC fighters like the pre-fight or whatever when they like look at each other.
I think I legitimately saw it in the middle there of all like when it zoomed out.
Oh my god! Wait, look at that CGI. Wait, hold on. Look at this fucking CGI right here. Are you ready? Are you watching?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When they like
my
roll
god,
out.
it cuts out. Like it's a cutout.
Dude, this is all of them. This is a compilation of all the Bakugan commercials.
That's
I love the concept of they all have to hold it like that.
The flicker, the top hopper, the back spinner.
dude, it makes me think of like a more cringy version of Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean, it was essentially a style of that where you could actually have something to represent the monster rather than just a card.
Yeah.
I still am waiting for this day where we can have realistic Yu-Gi-Oh, where it allows us to have holographic battles.
Dude,
Because that's what Yu-Gi-Oh was. They
be
had
so
holograms to
fucking
project
cool,
them.
dude.
That's all it was.
You ever see the fucking people that walk around at like Comic-Con and they have like the Yu-Gi-Oh like fucking arm accessory thing?
I have a dual disc. Somewhere in this house, I have a dual disc.
Oh yeah, dual disc.
That's what they're called. That's the arm thing. They're called dual discs.
How the fuck do you spell Yu-Gi-Oh?
Y-U-G-I-O-H.
Yeah.
What are they called? Like what is the
Dual disc. Dual disc is what they're called.
Are they not battle discs or battle decks?
O-H, not H-O.
Dual discs. God. Oh yeah, I definitely had one of them, but wait, what the fuck? You can buy one for $130? Hello?
I mean, they don't make them anymore, so they're kind of rare.
It's an 25th anniversary edition. It totally looks just like
I got a commercial going on. Look at these kids. Wait, hold on.
Dude,
my
I had
God.
that exact one. I had it right there. It had an actual life
I had
point
that
counter
same one, too.
on the top of it.
Oh, it does. Yeah, look at that.
I thought
it
it was
came
the
together,
coolest shit
like-
in the world. Dude, I felt
That's
like
awesome.
the-
Look at they're all ready.
let me
Fucking slapped
let me
down.
put this into equivalent terms right now. Wearing that as a kid, I feel the same way as I do now being able to put on my Infinity Gauntlet toy that I have behind me.
Dude, that would be that is so ridiculous, dude. I fucking love it. Oh my God.
You best believe I sat there at my house for just hours on end, fucking opening that up to like the halfway point where it's on both sides, and then switching it over and whipping down a card on it right away.
Dude,
God.
the toys in that era they were next to none, bro. They're just the best.
They definitely were. They were just like a newfound like magic. I remember when Beyblades first came out, and
Oh.
that just like, or at least when I first got one, I should say. I don't know if it's
I
from
had
when they first
Beyblades.
came out.
Beyblades were so fucking cool, dude.
How many arenas did you have? Did you like get a shit ton of arenas?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I had like 5.
I think I only had like 2. I didn't have a lot of arenas, but I had like a ton of Beyblades. I even had, I kid you not, I had a fucking case. I had a case that you could clip open. It would like snap.
A tackle box.
Yeah, it was like a tackle box, and you could open it up. You could open it up, and it had a special like long tray for all your. You could pick which zip cord you wanted to use, and then it had a spot for the handle that sat in there, and then it was like 15 squares for all your little fucking tops to sit in. It was so fucking funny. And then, dude, did you ever? Okay, there was. So all right, Nerdy Max here. As if any goes with any game, there was ways to cheat in games.
Uh-oh.
And Beyblades were there was you.
Oh my God! Did you make illegal Beyblades, you motherfucker?
I didn't make illegal ones, but I bought illegal ones on eBay.
You son of a bitch! You bought weighted motherfucking Beyblades.
I bought weighted Beyblades.
Yes,
I bought weighted Beyblades, dude.
You are the asshole.
My left hand
Blue
column,
eyes, black jackin', dude. What the fuck?
my left column. The left column on my case that I had were my special ones, my weighted ones.
Special ones.
So I would always start off. I knew which ones to grab, and I would start off with some of the other ones, and then like midway through the battle, I'd grab
You were a goddamn Beyblade shark, bro.
I was literally like,
debate him into thinking he doesn't have good tactics
Yeah,
and good ones,
exactly.
and then
he
hit
just
him with the
pulls out a
weighted one
fucking
real
weighted-
quick.
the best thing was going, hey dad, can you buy this for me on eBay? Like I've got some money I could give you, but like I can't buy it on eBay. Can you buy this? And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And like explaining, he asked me. I remember this vividly because I remember where I was. I remember like where I was standing and him doing it. And he was like, what's the difference between these ones and these ones? And I was like, oh, well, they're special. And he's like, why are they special? And I'm like, well, they don't. These ones are like kind of custom. They're not like exactly. I didn't want to tell him I was like trying to buy like things to cheat the game or whatever. I had like two at the time. I lived in a neighborhood that like had a bunch of like
honor.
yeah. I was in a neighborhood that had a bunch of like the neighborhood kids or whatever, and we would like go outside and like meet up in the neighborhood, and we had like this little circle like culvert area we would chill at and everything, ride our bikes up to it, and we would set up our Beyblade arenas like outside in like the driveway or whatever, and just fuck around with them. And dude, I was such a fucking Beyblade cheat. I'm not even kidding.
That's nasty, bro.
It was nasty, but it was fun. Hey, full circle. I wanted to bring up my one comment about blowing up computers.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told this on podcast. I think I probably have told you guys at one point, but did I tell you about when I blew up my first computer? My first gaming computer I ever built blew up.
The clear case one?
The acrylic one. Yep.
I don't think I've heard this story.
I did not know it blew up.
So
Let's hear it, dude.
It's a sad story because
What'd
like
you do?
Well, here's the thing. So you know how like the most terrifying part about building a computer is your first power on. Like you're always like you never you can be as confident as you want, but you never really know until you hit that power button for the first time.
Once you hit that power button, that's when boys become men.
yeah, exactly.
And the second that power doesn't come on, your heart drops and goes, what is wrong?
You start racing through your mind of like all the things that you couldn't, like maybe I didn't plug this in, maybe this didn't get plugged in, and then like finally you get that like post screen and you're like, oh, okay,
Dude,
we're good.
Trust me, imagine that, but on like a scale of 15. Like it's a terrible feeling.
Yeah, it really is. So I had built my first computer. I got all my parts together, threw it all in or whatever. And this was back in like the era of where like computer components weren't like, we were still coming off of like the bad cap era and like all that kind of crap. Threw all my shit together, powered it on, and pop, smoke, and off. And I was like, you have to be fucking kidding me. after doing some RMA stuff with ASUS and talking with the support and everything and sending it back on, they determined that my motherboard was DOA. It was I had a completely defective motherboard, and luckily none of my other components got fried in it blowing up.
Thank God.
So
Well, the board did its job.
Yep.
So luckily, the motherboard took all the damage, and it wasn't even your fault.
Yeah, it really wasn't. Which was it was my first computer I ever from scratch built, and I was freaking out. And I sat there it took 3 weeks to get the new motherboard back, and all those 3 weeks, all I was doing there was sitting there looking at that computer that's almost ready to go, wondering to myself what other parts were bad. And I was so happy to know that it was okay and like nothing went bad. But yeah, that was my first custom build experience.
I had a very similar
I have power button
reaction.
PTSD.
I had a very
PTSD.
similar experience back before I bought my 1080 Ti. I originally bought a 1070 hybrid, so it was just like a water cooler block installed 1070, and for some reason I had this very particular issue where my computer would just power cycle.
Oh,
Like out of absolutely nowhere. Like literally I would just be sitting there, boom, power cycle.
Oh.
And I couldn't figure it out.
it's like what
and
mine used to
I,
do up until recently.
Well, the thing is it was consistent. Like Windows startup, launch,
Was it
type
like
in password, power cycle.
was it like
minute,
was it like the computer would like go through the shutdown sequence, or it would just power off and then power back on?
power cycle.
Weird. Okay.
So I proceeded to just like try so many different things, just figure out what it was. I pulled out my graphics card, and I had an integrated CPU at the time, and it booted up fine, totally good. Like it ran for a while, and I was like, okay, like what the hell's going on? So I was like, fuck it. I'll RMA it. I'll RMA my 1070 hybrid. I'll send it back. And I found out that I think I charged up like $300, and I went up to the 1080 Ti, which was like perfect because I was like, fuck it. Free upgrade at the time, kind of free, like a little bit of an extra price, but not that bad. And it totally ended up working. And for some reason, to this day, I have absolutely no idea why a graphics card made my computer just power cycle. But I was worried because I was at the point, because this was like going on a week and a half now, that I was like worried about what was really going on. And I was ready to fucking totally strip the whole thing, like get a new motherboard, see if that was going to fucking work. And I was ordering parts, and it was a very not fun period of like 3 weeks of not
fun.
I'm on my computer almost like 80% of my life. So not having a computer for like 3 weeks
Oh,
was
it
a
sucks.
very not fun experience.
You're like walking around like, fuck, what the hell do I do with my free time now?
You literally feel like you're lost. What are you supposed to do?
Dude, it was like one time when we had it's not often our power goes out, but when it does, it's like out. And we had a whole like day where we had the power out, and dude, I literally walked around here like, what the fuck do I do? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with myself. Like I'd stand up, sit down in my studio, like look around, be like, is there anything I can do? And then like get up, sit down in the living room, look at my like blank TV screen, and be like, okay, well, there's nothing really to do over here. Walk into my room, lay down, go on my phone for a few minutes, and be like, well, this is kind of boring. I want to go do something. Walk back in my studio, sit down, and be like, man, there really is nothing to do when the power goes out.
Yeah.
I usually resort to just board games.
Yeah.
That usually is a really good fallback.
But
Board games always fun.
but-
Farkle.
I think that is a good spot for us to probably wrap up this episode.
I think it is. It is indeed.
We'll do a quick little TLDR, quick little recap. But this podcast, again, this is our last episode until season 2. This is we've been at it for a year, so congratulations everyone here. You know, round of applause for yourself,
guys. Yes.
We did it for a year, and we're gonna be coming back next in 2 Mondays from now with the
Potentially, we'll see, because it is going to be around holidays. So
Yeah,
I guess
there
we'll
might
have to see
be-
if we want to talk about it.
There might be a little bit of a delay there. I mean, it would make sense for us to do that since it would be season 2. We'll figure it out, but the next time you guys see us here for CC Podcast, it will be season 2 regardless. So
Season 2, baby, episode 26.
yep.
Well, technically,
No, it'll be episode 1.
1.
It'll be episode 1.
Yeah, boy.
So there's that, as well as our Among Us event coming up this weekend. Stay tuned for a few more minutes in the stream after we go offline to get a catch of the trailer that's going to be going live here. We're going to loop it a few times so you guys can check her out and see what's going on.
coming at you live on Caffeine this Sunday.
But yeah, and then hope you guys enjoyed our Reddit segment for the day. And if you want to, if you missed this one, you can go check us out on YouTube. This will be live soon, as well as on all podcast locations and everything. So that's everything from Google, Apple, Spotify, and Anchor, and go check it out. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Glitch Penguin.
I'm Fallen Wolf.
And I am Silver Zambi.
Thank you so much for being here, and we will catch you in season 2 of the Caffeinated Creators podcast.
See you guys back on episode 1, baby.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.